Namaste, sir. Sir, I read both of your books very thoroughly, and I was able to obliterate my colonial consciousness. Thank you for that. Sir, in your second book, you wrote that the impact of Western education on the Hindus as well as the Muslims was quite different. The Hindus got more detached from their culture, and they got taken up in this English elite environment, taking up positions in the colonial administration, and became what Thomas Macaulay called as Indians in color and blood, but English in tastes, opinions, and intellect. While on the other side, Muslims, they retreated back to their traditional Islamic practices. Sir, what explains this different approaches or different responses to the European coloniality?
So there are two ways of looking at it, or rather two examples. The way Hindus look at Raja Ram Mohan Roy is the way Muslims look at Syed Ahmed Khan of Aligarh. Okay. Now, Syed Ahmed Khan's entire goal was to learn English and to expose his community to Muslim education so that they could become part of state power without giving up their origins. Remember, Syed Ahmed Khan was a self-confessed Wahhabi himself because he's a product of the Dehlavi school of thought. He is actually a student of the very same seminary. I've explained this in the book. So his entire approach was, सीखो, उसमें डूब मत जाओ, क्योंकि तुम्हें इस सिस्टम को वापस लेना है. Whereas Hindus, if you look at Ambika Charan Majumdar's book, which I've cited, he was, I think, the president of the Congress around the 1915-16. This gentleman's book on the evolution of Indian political movement is a go-to reference. And he opens the book by a deification of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Raja Ram Mohan Roy effectively believed that everything that was of consequence to Hindus from an education perspective was of no consequence, and that the only way that they could uplift themselves was by exposing themselves to Western education. So the clear distinction is, one chooses to learn Western education only to be able to navigate that particular system so that he can take back that particular system. And the other embraces Western education because he believes that his own culture has no value and his own educational systems has no value. And therefore, in order for him to be at par with everybody else in the rest of the world, he needs to give up his past and adopt Western education, which explains even his reconception of Hinduism on Christian lines. The way he saw the Brahmo system or whatever it is was primarily through a Christian framework. So the difference between the Hindu approach and the Muslim approach is, the Muslim approach has been to keep its traditional systems alive, either through its seminaries. And even the most vocal of its reformists constantly spoke of keeping both identities alive and giving primacy to Islamic identity first. If Jinnah considered Aligarh Muslim University as the Muslim arsenal of Bharat, which would lead to the creation of Pakistan, and if he thought Aligarh was actually a great benchmark, Jamia was established because they believed that Aligarh itself was pro-British. Imagine an institution which you associate with the Pakistan movement being seen as more pro-British, and as a consequence, Jamia is set up. Therefore, there is a very clear strain of conservatism as far as the Muslim thought is concerned, which has kept its consciousness alive and its collective memory alive for generations together. Here, Tilak was branded orthodox, and he was effectively called a Brahmin fascist by his own contemporaries. When the man singularly understood that the only way that you can actually fight the other side is by getting into the system without giving up your roots. Ultimately, the Swaraj Party was set up only on these lines. That's my answer to the question.
Thank you, sir.
So,